What's up, guys? I'm your host, David Ramsey, and I'm back for the final episode of the little mini-series that we've got going right now of the student perspective of COVID-19. So I'm here with student Jacob Grimsley and student Jackson Lawrence, and we are going to talk about how COVID has affected our relationship with our relationships with peers, family, whatever it may be. So what do you guys think, like, when it comes to the people that you go to school with, especially, how has the amount of quarantine changed not only them but the way that you view them?
Oh man, this is an interesting topic.
I don't know about my view on certain people, but I feel like being quarantined for that long has made me less of a social person, or just I feel like I've been out of the practice of just being able to speak to someone. I don't know, I guess that's just me, but I feel like I haven't had to have small talk with acquaintances outside of just conversation with my closer friends. So I just feel really
Anxious?
Yeah, anxious and more anxious in social situations than I have been.
Yeah, I don't think it really changed my actual interactions, but I will say, and maybe it's my age, the age that we're at, or maybe it's that we're seniors in high school, but I think this quarantine made me realize who I value in my life, because, it also sort of comes down to what you talked about, David, earlier, is you only have so many hours in the day, and I went through that quarantine and came out a different person, not only quarantine, but it's also the summer before my senior year, I just turned 18 years old, so that's obviously also a big life difference, so I won't even equate it all to COVID, but, it's just you grow up and you change a lot, and you're just how, it's weird to look at people you're friends with, because you're so different. There's people who I'm friends with now, that I'm so different from in a way that makes it difficult for me to believe that we were ever once the same, because I think that's how a lot of friendships start, especially at a young age. It's oh, you play this sport that I do, or you watch, you're here in this place, you come to this place that I come to, school or whatever, or you're in this class. And I think that both COVID and my senior year has made me appreciate the closeness of the real relationship, what I consider the real relationships that I have, and also realize the approach needed for the ones that I don't consider that way, because I don't hate those people, I don't even dislike those people, but it's definitely been interesting to find, the people who I want to spend that very, very valuable time with after quarantine versus the people who I'm okay with missing out a couple days with. So
Yeah, that really goes back to what I was saying in one of the previous episodes about priorities. For me personally, I've had to prioritize my friendships because of COVID, and I don't know about y'all's parents, but mine don't really want me being in large social settings, so I can't exactly go to everything, so I have to be okay, these are the people that I want to hang out with, that I need to hang out with during this time. These are the people that I would like to see, but I'm kind of indifferent if I see them or not, and then these are the people that I don't want to see anymore. I don't have to see them and waste that valuable time, that short amount of time, or the limits that have been placed upon my friendships now because of COVID. So it's strengthened some of my close friendships, and it's weakened some of my other friendships. So it's been kind of a plus and a minus, or maybe a plus, depending on the way that you think about it. Some of the friendships that I've lost because of this, it's maybe that was a good thing in the end.
Yeah, I think I see it as a plus, mostly, because maybe in the short term it's weird, or they you can't relate to those people anymore, or that you're very different from
It
them.
just kind of sucks to like lose that connection. that you
Yeah,
used to
but
have.
you know, I think you realize in the long term that like the most important thing is that the people around you are either directly improving you or driving you to improve yourself. And you know, I think that's the main difference, is that the people who you feel that way about are people who are just dragging you down, and it's people who don't support you in the way that a relation, like, you know, any kind of relationship should, whether it be like your parent or your friend or whatever. And also, like, relationship with my parents has actually improved, I think, because if we want to go into that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's a great segue.
yeah, so my relationship with my parents, you know, I think I spend a lot of time, you know, before quarantine, before COVID, it's like I'm doing everything besides, you know, things in my house. So I'm going to, you know, basketball games like at our local like rec leagues. You know, I'm going to school. You know, I'm hanging out with friends. I'm going to church. I'm going to eat. You know, like whatever. But you know, we didn't really have a choice, and that wasn't like a negative thing to me at any point. I don't think, you know, that I had to eat with my parents, with my family. But I think that pre-quarantine, and I mean even now sometimes, it's just like sitting down at the dinner table is not something that is often, you know, is often like, you know, my entire family sitting down and, you know, home from work, home from school, has nothing to do that night, so we're actually just sitting at dinner with each other. But you know, during quarantine, that was like the social hour of the day, you know, because like, especially for me, because I live upstairs in my home and the rest of my family lives downstairs. So it's like most days I would just like not see them until like dinner, or like whenever I need to use the bathroom, I'd be like, hey, you know, I'm alive. That's about it. And so I would say that family wise, that's something that wasn't, you know, I didn't know I needed, I guess, not, you know I needed, but I didn't know that needed improvement, I should say.
Yeah, for me, it actually, the quarantine kind of came at a good time because previously I was never home. I had a girlfriend at the time. I was hanging with her. I'd be with my friends. I'd be doing stuff after school, stuff before school. I could not I could not make enough time for my parents and my mom especially, who is realizing, you know, I'm the second of 3 children in my house, and she kind of saw the way that things unfolded with my older sibling before he went to college. So she's realizing that time barrier is there where I'm about to leave, and wanted to spend more time with me, and I just could not find the time of day to, you know, give to her. And so that quarantine was nice, you know, especially at the beginning. It was like we'd play board games, we'd, you know, do different things, because once again I was trying to stay stimulated doing things, and they were, you know, the exact same way. That's why I'm that way. So we kind of bonded over those new hobbies. Like my mom, especially when I got into gardening, she was like so excited. We were both so excited to go to Lowe's that day and like get all the different plants that we were going to grow. So at the start, it was definitely, you know, an amazing time where I was able to kind of rekindle that bond that I had with my parents and my brothers. And, you know, by the end of it, my brother had come home from college. I was like, okay, you know, like shoot him out the door. Let's go back. And it's nothing against him. I love him so much, but that's how it is. You know, in a house of 5, I wasn't used to 5 being there because of him being gone and my situation. So having all of us packed back in there was great until about halfway through, and it was like, okay, I'm ready to get out of this house now. So, you know, the good and bad. What about you, Jackson?
Yeah, my relationship, because I just live with my mom, but like it didn't change a ton. It definitely improved, but she kind of like recently became a realtor. So like during quarantine, like I was losing stuff that I was doing, but she was like increasing the stuff that she had to do. So like I kind of became like her, and she kind of became like me, and like she was kind of like leaving the house a good bit. But we definitely still had like a lot more time together, and we ate together a lot more. And it's just kind of nice because like, this is kind of like this is the last year you're gonna be able to do that. Just like consistently, just have dinner like with your family.
Yeah.
So that's just really nice because this is senior year and I am gonna be going like 2 hours away, so I can't just like come home on a weekday and be like, hey mom, let's have dinner. So it was just really nice that quarantine gave me that time with my mom that I didn't really have previously, because I am normally very busy throughout the year.
Yeah, that looks like all the time that we have. So thank you guys if you guys have gotten through all of the episodes, all 4 episodes, thank you so much for listening. This was the student perspective on COVID. We ended up going through the way that the school year was, positive and negative, and how it impacted our relationships. So thank you guys so much for taking a listen. Stay tuned for any JNN podcast episodes to come. Thank you guys so much. I love all of y'all. Be safe. Don't forget to check out the latest content from JNN. You can stay up to date by following our social media accounts at Jaguar News Net on Twitter and at Jaguar News Network on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also remember to use our promo code MCJNN when ordering online at Papa John's. This has been David Ramsey. Thank you.